Namaste, my friends. Foxy D. First of all, forgive the disheveled, very makeup free appearance today. Got a lot of work to do. It's almost an emergency video I'm doing right now. And I'm doing it in response to someone who wrote me. And I neglected something really important when I was talking about the mobbing, okay, and mobbings in general. So I'm going to just refer to my notes because I want not to miss a beat. So before we get into the whole emotionality scale that I was talking about in the last video, like from psychopath to narcissist to empaths, I have to address an important mobbing related issue that I've neglected until now. And this is as follows. What are your choices and what should you expect if you stay beyond stage 3? Remember, stage 3 is that critical incident and management has fallen flat. After you've spoken to someone in management, you see that no one's on your side. So what are your choices? And expectations and all of that jazz. So here we go. Choices. My humble opinion. If you can, leave the job immediately. Leave the job immediately, as soon as possible. This stuff is not worth your time and energy. It actually sucks out your time and energy. If you recall from my experiences, I had these miserable back problems because I wasn't really engaging in self-care. So self-care is key, but it's always difficult in a mobbing because remember, it's an attack. It really is an attack on your spirit, soul, and essence as a human being. These are like killers. Seriously, you don't have to pull the trigger to be the moral author of someone's demise. The key is to recognize that a mobbing is going on. Remember that these people are not geniuses. They're very base. This is super base behavior. I'll give you another example in terms of the animal kingdom. I had a dog, beautiful Apache. God rest his soul. I miss him to death. But here we go. The kennel wouldn't accept him because he wasn't fixed. And I said, well, are you going to keep the male dogs away from the female dogs? And they said, that's not the issue. The issue is that neutered male dogs will attack unneutered male dogs. And I found that striking because everybody says neuter your dog because they'll be less aggressive. It appears that that may not be true, especially when it comes to animals versus other animals. And the way I look at mobbing is pretty much the same. If you have a spirit and soul left in this society, many people have given that up on their quest to go up the ladder or in their failure to have gone up the ladder in their misery and disappointment in terms of not having done so. Society is just made this way. Our society, anyhow. And I'm not just talking about North America. Europe is the same. It shocked me. I thought Northern Europe would be like North America and maybe Australia. Looks like this is like a worldwide phenomenon, like I said. Let me get back to business, all right? So what are your choices? If you could leave the job, do so immediately. If you can't leave the job on the immediate, like most of us plebs these days, tell you, this is what you could do. A, firm up those boundaries. Okay, that means do not engage in small talk. Don't try to be nice. You can't nice your way out of it. Super strong body language, sit tall. No friendly conversations with anyone. You're on your own. Okay, do your work. Talk to no one. Get out. Okay? Don't let anyone in. If anybody comes, hi, how are you? Look at your watch, whatever it is. Look, I got work to do. How can I help you? Fast, quick. That's it. That's all. All right? So the battle's on. And mobbings do not end up with the good guy changing the workplace culture. It's not like the movies you see. Those are false narratives. This is not how psychology works. Just is what it is. Look, we get manipulated every day by our media. You know what? They look at the same work of like people like Milgram, Zimbardo, Ash as we do. They use it to manipulate people. A lot of them do get manipulated. If you're not the type to get manipulated, then learn this stuff. Dig deeper. So the bottom line is this. You're not going to change the workplace culture. Set your expectations accordingly. Engage in self-care. All they want you to do, they're going to try to make you blow up and pop. And they will do things to piss you off. Okay, so again, and send your CV, engage in self-care, get out of the environment is the bottom line. Because that's what's going to happen either way. Either way, when a mobbing is past stage 3, they're going to mob you till you quit. Or they're going to manipulate certain things and they're going to get you fired. My experiences, Remember, this last time I decided to fight back. The first two mobbings, I put my head down and my behind up. I also became the witness to other people's mobbings. It's awful. It kills your soul and your spirit. Well, it didn't kill my soul and my spirit, but put me to sleep. It was horrible. I feel like I lost 7 years of my life, or like I was in jail for 7 years. And it's funny, since I've been out of that environment, I am growing exponentially, and I'm feeling stronger than ever. Just saying, could be a really beneficial thing sometimes to really check yourself, okay? Gain some awareness. And then you can make really good decisions for you. Anyhow, fight back. How does it work? This can be very empowering if your expectations are in check. That means if you know, look, I'm going to fight back. I know I'm fighting myself out of here anyways, because this isn't going to end well, but I'm going to get a couple of good shots in. Okay? And the fighting back has to be tactical. And the tactic has to fit the crime, all right? And has to be well thought out. That means fighting back cannot be born out of anger, frustration, or rage. It has to be purely psychological in nature and defensive. Never throw the first stone. It's not the point to what I'm saying, all right? Your aim is to create distance between you and them and to lessen any potential anger-inducing event. I'll give you some examples of what I mean by fighting back, all right? But before I do that, I'm going to tell you got to pick your battles as well. There are going to be times when you can't really fight back. I'll give you an example. I'm a smoker. I don't like leaving the butts on the ground. So there I am smoking. I butt out on the ground, take them, I take a Kleenex, I wrap them up, and I throw them in the trash. Now, I come back the next day, and one of the staff, all right, who did the cleanup, who happened to be a husband of one of my colleagues, okay, who was one of the favorites of management, wrote a big note on the board saying, "Do not wrap your cigarette butts and throw them in the garbage," all right? And everybody knew it was me, and they were like, "Oh my God, poor you." I shrugged my shoulders. I said, whatever. How can you fight that? There's nothing that you could really say. So I chose to let it go. They could babble all they want. Screw it, okay? But sometimes you can fight back. I'll tell you, and again, your aim is not to show them that you're tough. You don't give a shit what they think, okay? Your aim is to create a distance between you and them, and so that you don't pop while you're in the environment, because that's what it is. Remember, it's a war on your spirit and soul. And remember, you're the unneutered dog. They've all been neutered. They sense you. They feel your vibration. They hate you. Think of colonialists with slaves, all right? The colonialists, these dried up MFs, if you want, that did some horrible things to some really beautiful people. Okay? Anyhow, here we go. Examples of fighting back include, I'll give you personal examples. When I take my week off with back issues, all right? Management, someone in management approached me. Remember, this was my third mobbing. I knew exactly to trust my instinct because I knew exactly what was going on. I was being mobbed. And they come up and they say, I'll call him John. Johnny, one of my mobbers, bought you flowers. And I looked, I said, really? And so, remember, I get a little bit of a rude response. And it started off like this. I said, listen, off the record, between us, thank goodness I wasn't here when he gave me those flowers. I'd have used his asshole as a vase and jammed them up there with the thorns side up. Now, management looked at me shocked. I shrugged my shoulders. Anything else? No. Okay. All right, good. Have a good day. Went back, did my work. Now, I started with off the record and the between us and the whole deal, but I knew full well management was going to go and tell the guy himself, who was going to go tell other people, and that's exactly what happened. But I expected it. It was tactical. I'm trying to create a distance. So if they know that, ooh, you know what, this is going to be a little rough, they tend to back off a little bit. That's what you want. Again, because they're just going to keep coming at you, getting you angrier and angrier. You know, and you hear about all of these things, like people retaliating physically, you know, and you want to avoid any of that stuff. It would be horrible. So just you're biding your time right now and you want to create a distance. So not that I advocate the fighting back, but for me, it felt good, but I was really in control of what I was doing and what I was saying. Even when I called the dude an asshole. If you've seen my previous videos, that's another issue. I'm going to give you a couple more examples other than these that I've already spoken about, okay? So for me, create distance, and you need to do that with a bit of a defiant attitude. You got to walk around tall, all right? I'll give you another example. I was approached about how by my manager, okay, who was the moral author, him and another female colleague of this mobbing. So he comes up to me and starts talking about how other of my colleagues are climbing the ladder. And this was a tactic meant to make me reconsider my defiant position, intimidate and or frustrate me, which it didn't, because I knew what was going on and I didn't really care to climb the ladder at that point. So I gave him the good old, yeah, that's good for them. Good. Is there anything I can help you with right now? Direct eye contact, slight smile, again, a tall stance. So in my case, but it was predictable, because this wasn't even something that was a mental process, it was soul. I didn't care. So I wasn't lying. I was telling them the truth. I really, good, good for them. Yeah, if that's what they want, awesome. Can I help you with anything? Got work to do. No. Okay. See ya. Okay, another example. Talking to a colleague. Talking to a colleague who was kind of neutral-y, but not quite. I forget what the conversation was about. One of the mobbers chimes in on the conversation. This is a person who had been mobbing me for like a month. The guy who was saying to everybody, like, what is wrong with Jen? She seems unwell. Like one of the primary mobbers. So he chimes in like, everything's great. Like we just spoke in friendly wise yesterday. So I just put my hand out and said, hell no. Right? And just look. That's it. That's all. And you know what he did? He hightailed it, went back to the office. Now that's because my spirit and my soul was involved in what I said. I meant it. And when I put that hand out, it was energy. Okay? And that's what they're going to do. It's almost predictable. All right? So another one was a mobber. Oh, yeah. A mobber joking when I was discussing something with somebody else, right? So I'm discussing something important. It was work related. Someone else happened to be that cowardly manager, one of the people responsible, the moral author. So I'm talking to him, and guaranteed this other guy who was higher up the chain of command, it was all kind of orchestrated. Dude comes in and makes an offhand joke. Now, I didn't laugh. Again, it was pure soul and spirit. I just stared. But I stared, and I stared with my guts. And I know that I freaked him out, because he literally took a step back and walked out of the office. I didn't say a word. Didn't have to. Because I knew what was going on. And it's like the energy literally comes from the ground. You got to trust yourself on this one. Another one, a mobber calling you names like, hi, sweetie, honey, cookie. Response, firm. Oh, hi, Scooby-Doo, or whatever the case is. Firm stare. My name is Jen. And the person will look, it's awkward, they might say something silly, whatever the case is, hightail it back to your office. Nothing thereafter. If they cookie you again, no response, just stare. Could shake your head. Go into your office. No smile, no nothing. Let your soul speak for you, and it does freak them out. So, remember, the fire starters in mobbings think they're evil geniuses, all right? So in my case, it was that one female who was triangulating, all right, and my very cowardly male manager. So be prepared for some very ridiculous behavior. It's almost like they think they're so much smarter than you. It takes them a while to catch on to the fact that you know exactly what's going on, right? Like in the case of my male manager, he was telling me that the song that reminded him of me was Eye in the Sky by the Alan Parsons Project. So I'm going to put a link to the song. And I said, wow, that song has absolutely nothing to do with me. Oh, yeah, it could be taken in one of two ways. Meaning he was the eye in the sky. Like basically admitting to the fact that he had mobbed me. And to that, I just smiled and looked and I said, well, what's interesting in this whole thing is you've all managed to expose yourselves with a smile. Freaks out the narcissist really bad. Regarding the female colleague, well, she had been placed in a different, well, not exactly a different department within the same organization, a job I actually helped her get to, okay? And so what had happened is she was not talking to me during the entire mobbing. We had a mutual friend, the hairdresser, and the hairdresser was like, oh, you know what, Anna, we'll call her Anna. Anna wants to know if she can join us for dinner because we had made dinner plans. And I said, no, I'm not big on Anna these days. So let's sit just you and me, okay? Or just us, like couple with couple. And she's like, okay. And I had a hairdressing appointment a week later. So sure enough, the day of the appointment, she writes me and she says, Anna has an appointment right before yours. So I knew exactly what was going on, that my dinner date, hairdresser, was part of this whole deal as well. So she goes, well, maybe you could come a little later so you don't have to run into her. I didn't go later. I actually went to my appointment on time. I saw Anna there who was waiting for me. And she smiled and said, so what's happening? And I said, not much. I just talked to a lawyer. A lawyer? Why? Oh, well, my back is really bad, you know. I said, well, right now I'm going through a bit of a mobbing. A mobbing? Oh, yeah, I said, I'm going through a mobbing at work. She's like, oh, I hope so-and-so and so-and-so is part of this lawsuit. And I started laughing, and I said, well, you know, I can't really disclose the people that are involved, but right now it's about 7 or 8. Big smile. My spouse happened to be with me that day. They engaged in some kind of conversation while I was getting my hair washed. She ends up yelling at him, getting up and leaving. That was the last I ever saw or spoke to her. And regarding the hairdresser, I ducked out of our dinner date very politely. And that was the last I ever heard or saw of her as well. Which brings me to something else. Now, when the mobbers realize that you're onto them, they will freak out. And what the sub-mobbers do, and by the sub-mobbers I mean everybody else who jumped in on the bandwagon, who were actually mobbers but not the masterminds, they will try to portray themselves as victims of you. Okay? So, oh my God, did you see how emotional she was? That's another thing. In our society, people view kindness as weakness and emotionality as weakness. Now, it's ass backwards. I'm sorry. Okay? There's very little you could do. They expect you to put your head down and your ass up. Don't do it, I promise. And that's option C. Put your ass up and your head down. Definitely not recommended. That's it for now. I hope you have a great day. I think I have to filter through this stuff, probably come up with a couple more mobbing related videos, and then get to that whole emotionality thing. Because I really do have a theory as to what's going on. And I do believe that mobbing is an attack on your spirit and soul by animals who have very little spirit and soul left. I wish you a great day. Namaste. Foxy D. I'll look a lot better the next video, okay? Ciao.